Finally, be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians chapter 6 verses 10 to 11, New International Version. Don't quit. Keep fighting. Stay strong. That's the message we often hear during the difficult seasons in our lives. However, sometimes things get so hard and go on for so long that we simply don't have any fight left in us. Sometimes, the burdens of this life are just too heavy for us to carry on our own. Nevertheless, we find ourselves constantly facing the pressure to be strong and at least appear to hold everything together. Apostle Paul no doubt experienced the same kind of pressure, but he refused to give in to it. Apostle Paul knew what it felt like to be overwhelmed. He understood that the trials of this life were far greater than anything you or I could ever carry on our own. In the book of Ephesians, Paul emphasizes the reality that things are even worse than we could have ever imagined. He says, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places." Ephesians chapter 6 verse 13. You and I are fools to think that we can hold it all together against the cosmic powers that rule over this present world. Even the strongest of us are no match for our enemy. So, what are we supposed to do when faced with an enemy that is far stronger than we are? Fortunately, we are not the first to find ourselves in this position. In 2 Chronicles chapter 20, King Jehoshaphat finds himself facing an enemy that is far stronger than he is. Let's find out what he does as he goes out to fight a battle that he knows he could never win on his own. In verse 12, he prays, "O our God, will you not execute judgment on them? For we are powerless against this great horde that is coming against us. We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you." What Jehoshaphat did thousands of years ago is what Apostle Paul is calling you and me to do today when he says in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10 to 11. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Apostle Paul is calling us to recognize our powerlessness and look to the one who is able to raise the dead. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 9. He is calling us to lay aside our flimsy man-made defenses and put on the armor that God alone is able to provide. There is only one who has stood against all the schemes of the devil, only one who single-handedly disarmed all of the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame. Colossians chapter 2 verse 15. And His name is Jesus, and it is in the strength of His might that Apostle Paul is calling us to fight our battles. It is the armor that He bought with His precious blood that Apostle Paul is calling us to put on. So let us stop pretending that we are stronger than we really are. We don't have to keep trying to look like we have it all together. And we don't have to wrestle on our own alone anymore. Let the Lord be your strength and your shield. Psalms 28 verse 7. Let Him be your stronghold and refuge in the day of trouble. Jeremiah 16 verse 19. In Christ, we can know for certain that our God is for us, so who can be against us? If you will only trust Him, you will find that we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. Romans 8, verse 31 and 37. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians chapter 6 verses 10 to 11, New International Version.